England will look to maintain their 100% record as Samoa have one last chance to cause an upset. My name is Mark, let's talk rugby. England v Samoa. This one is at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy in Lille. It's on Saturday 7th of October. Kickoff is 4:45 BST. This is world number 6 versus world number 14. If, and it's a big if Scotland lose to Ireland and then England do win this game, England could go into the quarterfinals in 5th place in the world. It's very tight there from 5th, 6th and 7th, not much between them, but a Scotland win against Ireland would propel them, beyond, I think, any of the teams below them, at least for a game or two after that. But let's have a look at the teams. We start with England. So front row, we've got Genge, George and Cole there. So, looking fairly strong in the front row there. We've seen this, England pack, that game where backs against the wall against Argentina to start, and then they've gotten better and better as the tournament has gone on. I think part of it as well is that Borthwick has almost been forced into by circumstance into picking a team that maybe he wasn't prepared to pick at the start. The likes of, we'll come to it now in a second actually. So we've got Toji and Chesham in the second row. Those guys look like a decent partnership. They went well during the Six Nations, and they've been kind of the preferred starters through the World Cup as well. Back row, then you got Laws at 6. He's always going to give you lots of work there. You got Tom Curry there at 7, a great threat to break down. Then Ben Earl, good carrier. And what I was going to say, is no Billy Vunipola. I still think he's a busted flush. It's almost like it's almost like seeing Billy Vunipola when he was at his best, right? And so devastating, and teams found it very hard to deal with him. It's as if Borthwick has seen that and thought, we need a big guy like Billy Vunipola to carry an 8 and have that impact. But the game has changed since he had that impact, and Billy Vunipola is not the same player either. So it's harder for players to have that impact, and he just doesn't have it. Over those first few yards, first few meters, it's so important to get up to speed and to, if he's going to be running into contact, to really hit it at pace. And teams have been getting in there and stopping him early and stopping him building up that momentum. And the likes of Ben Earl and a few others, there's a few others in this England squad that you would start in the back row ahead of Billy Vunipola at 8 as well. Who have that acceleration or have a little bit more guile to the game, other than let's just chuck it up straight. So I think it's a decent back row. They should go well in this game, but it's really the quarterfinal, and then if they get to a semi-final, how they perform in that really is going to be the judge of whatever back row combination they end up with at that stage. Onto the backs, then we got Alex Mitchell there at 9. Again, such a kind of fortunate player, because Van Poortvliet's misfortune was definitely his fortune, because he was left out of the squad initially. Van Poortvliet gets injured, then he leapfrogs both 9s that were already in the squad to start instead, and he's actually doing a decent job there too. And that combination with Ford, I think, is growing. 4 to 10 there. The only thing with 4 to 10 is Farrell is almost certainly going to be put in at 12, which there's good and bad things about that. It means your centres are a little bit compromised in that, it's not really a centre combination, as it were. It's just Farrell being put in the team. Not that he's terrible at centre. It's just that we've seen Borthwick try to find a combination that works there, and that did not include Owen Farrell playing at 12, at least for the most part. So it seems like a bit of a step backwards for them, really. On the right wing there, we have Johnny May. We've got Farrell and Tuilagi in the middle. Tuilagi, unlike Billy Vunipola, has actually had some impact in this tournament. He's carried well, and you can see him coming back to his best. Still not as devastating as he was a few years ago, but again, the game's moved on a little bit, and it's just harder to have that sort of impact. But he could still have a stormer of a game and just tear an opposition midfield to shreds as well. You got Joe Merchant there on the right wing. The wings seem to be a problem position for them. A lot of people probably thought Arundel, he scored so many tries in that last game. Surely he's going to get picked. No, because he's not a Borthwick type player. Borthwick wants players who are predictable and can follow the plan. Arundel is really neither of those, and that's why unless it's a game where you want to just let loose and score as many points as possible, or forced to by injuries, I don't think we're going to see Arundel getting a start. Then at the back you got Freddie Stewart there. Again, calls for Marcus Smith to start at 15, but Stewart, I think he is genuinely the better option at 15. He's much better under the high ball, and he still offers a threat running it back as well. Probably not as much as Marcus Smith, but I think his upside at the moment at least is a bit better than Smith's downside at 15. But we've got Smith involved anyway. If we look at the bench, we've got Theo Dan, Joe Marler and Kyle Sinclair all covering the front row. But we've seen throughout this tournament, like, that front row is malleable. You're a starter one week and next week you're on the bench or even left out of the matchday squad. You got George Martin covering the second row. Vinny Vulapola on the bench, I don't understand, honestly. For me, you either start him, which I wouldn't, but if you're going to play him, you start him, because coming off the bench, I'm not sure what kind of impact he's going to have, because he's not that kind of fresh daisy type player that you would expect to come on and make hay as teams get tired. But we'll see what impact he has on this one. Maybe against tired legs he will be able to get up to speed before he goes into contact. You got Danny Kerr covering 9, Marcus Smith covering 10. If he has even a few decent moments off the bench, again, there will be calls for him to be the starting 10. But I think Ford is doing a great job there. You got Ollie Lawrence then covering the rest of the back line. So fairly strong team from England, and not surprising given that we haven't really seen Borthwick yet settle on like what is his best 15. I think he's still trying to work that out. So that's the England team. We'll now have a look at the Samoa team. So front row we've got Lay, Malolo and Alatoa. Alatoa comes back. He was on the bench for the last game. He's back in the starting team now in that front row. Like, front row have gone fairly well. But like the rest of the team, kind of, they'll have good moments and bad moments. Second row, then you got Slade and Alanu Uesi. I knew I kind of mess up that name. So McFarland actually switches from second row to back row. So let's see how that works out, because McFarland has impressed me in that second row. You got Lee and Luatua then for the rest of the back row. Luatua for me is one that I expect a lot from, and he hasn't hit that height. He's still a decent player, just not as good as I was expecting him to be, really. Then the halfbacks again, you got Taumatene there, and Sapawanga is in at 10. So, decent combination there, 9 and 10. The rest of the backs then seem to be chopping and changing all the time. We've got Fomai, on the left wing. We've got Toala and Manu in the centres. Manu seems to be one of the few ever presents in the backs there, and he has been impressive. We've got Awong on the right wing, and we've got Paiao at fullback as well, another guy who has impressed. On the bench then we've got Silala Lam. He's been kind of in and out of the team as well. We've got James Lay covering the loose head, and then we have Paul Allo Emily covering tight head. Then we have Faso covering the second row, Motuga covering the back row. We got Matabao there as well. Got Lele Fano covering 10, and then we have Vailagi covering the rest of the back. So, again, they've gone strong for this one. They want to finish on a high. How do I think the game is going to go? I think, England have reached that stage now where, at the start of the tournament, they're definitely vulnerable. But now they're at the stage, I think, where teams like Samoa, they're going to be able to deal with them, and they're going to be able to beat them, and kind of, not easily. I don't think that's fair on Samoa, but I don't think that there's a shock on the cards in this one. Honestly, I think England are going to win. Samoa might have some flashes in the game, but they haven't shown enough in this whole tournament to say to me that they're going to put in a really good 80-minute performance. Because of that, I think that England are going to take the win in this one.